Today we're taking about 60 kilos out of the back of the Hilux, and we're going to update the 12 volt system with this lithium battery that Tony got for us earlier in the year. So I've got a fair few bits and pieces here, gone with a projector lithium charger, and we'll basically gut everything in the back of the Hilux and use some parts again, but should be able to get away with most of these things here. And we're also going to put a wire in to charge the trailer as we drive. So anyway, that's me for the next couple of days, I think. So yeah, this is the old setup, or the current setup. It's about 3 to 4 years old now. I think it's nearly 4 actually. So in here there's two 110 amp hour deep cycle batteries, just the normal lead acid batteries. And yeah, we'll probably reuse some of these Anderson plugs. We'll get rid of this isolator. I've got a projector one there, a couple of other things, and but yeah, we'll probably reuse most of what's on the underside of this panel. And I've got a new junction box to put there, and we'll figure out how it's all going to go together in here. First things first, a project like this is probably going to need a couple of arms. So before we start pulling things apart, we'll just have a cleanser. Cheers to the weekend. Once you've poured yourself a rum, disconnect the necessary terminals, the negatives, and then I'm going to proceed to disconnect the positive into here and isolate these batteries, and then take this lid off. It's actually going to be a pretty fun time lifting those batteries out of there. As I said, it's about 60 kilos, and when they got put in, this rack wasn't on it. So yeah, there's going to be some heavy lifting involved there, getting them out. But anyway, so I was going to pull this apart and build this box. It's just a junction box from an electrical wholesaler, and mount everything, most of it, on the inside of there. But what I might do is I might first pull the other stuff out, because I'm going to need to reuse a couple of things in there. So I'll pull it all out and get it on the bench here, and then I'll kind of design as I go how I want the box to be. But it shouldn't be too much different to what I've already got. It's just had to change everything over to be able to be compatible with the lithium. So this is a 110 amp hour lithium, and it's a fusion battery. We were lucky enough to get a pretty good deal on it, and so you just had to snatch it up. So anyway, so all the other bits, the projector lithium charger, that's about 400 odd, and then their dual battery system, which has got the voltage sensitive relay in it, which will help with the camper trailer hot wire as well. And then I've just got like a bus bar, a fuse box, I've got the weatherproof Anderson for the trailer plug, and then just volts and amps, and a couple of USB chargers to go on. And I'll probably, as I said, probably reuse a couple of things off the back of that panel that's in there. So now I'll get it all out and get on the bench, and then design as we go. Right, so that's the old unit there, that's the back of it. So yeah, I got a couple of fuses on here I'll reuse, a couple of these little plugs, etc. A lot of these cables are still good, nice big thick cables. So I'll gut that off. The two batteries are basically sitting in this box here. I made years ago, so I might see about putting that one in it, and might be able to stuff this other control box down the side. But anyway, a lot of space there, the batteries there. So bloody heavy. It's about nearly 30 kilos each, about 28 kilos. So anyway, I'll have a think about what I'm going to do now, and yeah, design as we go. Righto, so a bit of a check-in halfway through. I've just had to run to the shops to get some more fuses. So decided I'm going to mount this thing up here, and then the most of the other wiring's on the front of the box face. And I just had another good thought. This obviously screws onto the front there, onto the front of that box, and all the wiring will be in that box. But I might put a hinge on the top so I can open it up like that. So, but anyway, yeah, a few more hinges. We're about halfway through. It's a bloody putrid mess in here. But we're getting there. So pretty committed now, probably won't stop until it's done. So probably, I reckon, the way I'm going, slow and steady wins the race, probably about 8 o'clock tonight, I reckon. We'll see how we go. Before we go too much further, I just thought I'd weigh the old batteries. Oh. So I'll have a look. $25.4, so it's a little bit less than what I thought it was, 28. I'll just check the other one. They're both the same, but it'd be interesting to see if they're any different. They are 26.1. Righto, so the lithium. Let's make that work again. $14.6 versus about 26 kilos. So that's pretty good. Righto, well, fast forward about, I think it's about 3 weeks, nearly 4, and she's finally finished and finally sorted. That weekend that I started this thing, it ended up being quite the pain in the ass. But anyway, I'd done everything right. So I actually put a post up on one of the local Facebook pages, and I was kind enough of one bloke to offer his assistance, and he came around on the Sunday and tried to help me diagnose what was going wrong, because I thought this projector unit was faulty to start with. Basically, it was all wired up, it was all good, it was charging, no worries. And then after the first few test runs, I tested the solar charge out, that worked fine. Tested it running the car, and I noticed after 30 seconds it'd all kick off and it'd turn off and then reset itself. So pulled it all apart again, basically going through, wiring different things up, isolating different things and testing it. And yeah, my lack of knowledge, I was just fully stumped. So anyway, this bloke came around, and basically there was nothing wrong with it. It was all down the front of the car. The earth at the front of the car was a little bit how you going, and previously the system that was in here before, that also when I first put it in had an earth problem, and we fixed it, and then for some reason it highlighted the problem again. So what we did was we pulled the terminals off the positive and the negative and replaced them because they were a bit shagged, and then we changed all the earthing cables down the front to thicker cables, and we also earthed not only to the body, but we also earthed to the chassis, and we put a bigger cable onto the motor, and basically bigger cables all around down the front, and fired her up, no problemo. So as I said, it's pretty basic. Just 3 Anderson plugs. This one over here is just for the solar, so that gets plugged in. I don't need a regulator for that, just goes straight into this, and the projector unit will monitor and manage that. And then I've just got 1 Anderson plug for the fridge, which is also connected to this voltmeter, which also got a current draw meter on it, so it can let me know what the fridge is pulling from the batteries. And then this one's just an auxiliary. So I've got a couple little bits and pieces that plug in there, just like lights and stuff like that. And yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so all in all, I've taken approximately about 60 kilos out of the car, and what I've replaced it with basically has left me with, in a real world, 40 to 45 kilos of weight taken out of this box. So that's pretty good. I'll have to go through and repack it because there's a lot of stuff out of here at the moment. Yeah, I'll open this up and show you inside of it so you can have a look. Someone might be interested in something in there, I don't know. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. I haven't managed to hinge this this cover yet, but yeah, basically that's all done in there. So a couple of fuses, a couple of relays, buzz bar, and that's really about it. It's just gets a bit confusing with chasing wires around and everything, but all in all, it wasn't too difficult. As I said, it just stumped me because I didn't know what I'd done wrong, but in the end I didn't do anything wrong. So yeah, all the problems were down the front of the car. So yeah, if you remember what the old one looked like and how much less space this takes up, lithium battery fits just down the corner here, so I was able to utilize that space And yeah, before it came right out to about here, and now it just takes up this little bit. There's heaps more room in there for bits and pieces. And as I said, I've got to go through here and tie it up and repack some things into it. Yeah, just a really convenient spot. Just, you know, pull up to camp, flip this lid open, plug everything in, run it through this little grommet I got down in there, and you can just shut it and forget about it. So yeah, pretty good, unless you want to obviously watch what this is doing. But I haven't been able to test how quickly this this lithium recharges yet, but we're going away this weekend hopefully, and 4 days, and we'll be perched up there for a couple of days, 2 different spots hopefully. But yeah, so these lithiums apparently they recharge really quickly. They weigh bugger all. So all in all, but again, if I didn't get it so cheap, I probably wouldn't have done it. But yeah, so cheers again to Tones for that. So it's been a good little upgrade, good little learning experience. But I'll tell you what, you need a bit of patience, I reckon, to get into something like that. But learnt a fair bit, especially when old mate came around and helped diagnose it the next day. So I was pretty grateful for that, and luckily it didn't cost me an arm and a leg either. So grateful. But anyway, that's about it for now. So I'll wrap this video up, and as I said, I'll do an update on how quickly it charges and everything once we've used it a few more times. So I only used it the one time on a little trip for a few days down to Notch Point and Cape Palmy. So yeah, this weekend and hopefully next weekend we should be good to go, and be able to give a good update on just how well it goes, and if it keeps up with all the, well, not all the little power supply and power demands we have. Anyway, over and out.